Hello, football fans. Welcome back to From the Hip. My name is Anthony Rodriguez, and I will be your host. Joining me are my co-hosts, Justin Rodriguez and Corey. Sometimes my mic works, sometimes my mic don't. Thompson. Gentlemen, how are you?
Good.
How you doing?
So here we go, guys. Let's get right into it today. Today is Saturday, September 30th, 2023, and we are in week 4 of the NFL season. So, gentlemen, you got yourself together and watched the game on Thursday?
I did.
What about you, Corey? You got a chance to check the game out?
Checked out some of the game. I had to go to bed. Saw the highlights. I told you who was going to win.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you. So talk to me, guys. What were your thoughts on the game? Let's start with you, Corey.
What I told you from the start, Jordan Love wasn't going to look good. They tried to run the ball. They couldn't even move the ball. I mean, what did they have? They had like maybe a total 27 yards of rushing for the entire game. That's abysmal. And Aaron Jones even played. You can't win if you can't run the ball, especially with Jordan Love being not a new quarterback, but this being his first season at the helm. Montgomery looked great. He went against my pick with a hamstring injury. I didn't think he was going to play. He had 32 attempts, 121, 3 TDs. Golf looked all right. You know, like I said, he's a managing quarterback, but you can't win the game also when Jordan Love was sacked 5 times, hit 11 times, and Detroit is tied for the number 1 in the most sacks for the season. So the team looked good. They are now 3-1, and the Packers fall to 2-2.
Outstanding. Justin, what about you?
Yeah, man, I'm very disappointed in Jordan Love only because I feel like you can't keep coming back in the second half a whole new quarterback. I don't care what pep talk they give you in that locker room. Listen, that coming out of the gates and you looking that scared is kind of baffles me, man. You've been in the league. He's been in the league for a while. He sat behind a Hall of Famer. He's in a good program with Matt LaFleur. You know what I'm saying? He's in a good program, bro. So when I see a quarterback who looked good week 1 and 2 to come in and struggle in week 3, to then come in again and struggle in week 4, I shake my head at that. I thought it was just one bad week and he just bounced back from it. To see that now it starts to have me question: is Jordan Love really him? And that's what I want to say.
I think you were looking for that Tebow effect, weren't you? Where he would turn it on in the fourth.
Yeah. I'm just disappointed. He tried. He tried. You know what I mean? He tried to turn it up. He was cool. He was doing it, but it's just
he did
too late. Too late, man.
Mm-hmm.
With me, when I watched the game, I felt it was almost like a tale of 2 different games. You know, you came out in the first half, and it was all Detroit. It didn't matter who they were playing. They were running them over. It was just play after play after play of Lions football, right? I mean, the stats were so lopsided when you looked at it. The score was 27-3 at the half, 284 total yards. Green Bay only had 23 total yards in the first half. It was 15 first downs, and it was only 3 first downs for Green Bay. It was so lopsided. It was just terrible. And they had built up that lead, 27-3 and a half. So then you go into the game, and the second half is a little bit closer. You see that they're trying to come back, and I've got this feeling like Love is trying to be the comeback kid again. He's trying to do this thing that he does.
Yeah.
And but to me, the story of that whole game was the fourth quarter drive by the Lions. That was so important. It just meant everything because they had brought it back to where they were only down by 10. And all of a sudden, Goff starts running the ball with Montgomery right down the throats of Green Bay Packers. And they just ate up the clock and run after run after run, padding those running yards for Montgomery, which was another story. But they ate up the hope of the Packers to me. They just ate their
That was
whole
a real good way of putting it.
because that drive took everything away. It was a 9-minute drive. 9 minutes, 14 plays, 75 yards. And then they scored at the end. So regardless of what Love wanted to do, we just put the nail in the coffin and the game was over. And what the interesting thing for me about that, my takeaway from it is this what I'm going to get from the new Lions? Because if it is, that's scary. And watch out. Is this a fluke? I don't know. This is what I want to watch. This is what I want to see.
Well, I mean, there's always a shift in divisions after a certain amount of years because we've seen the Lions look horrible for years.
Oh, yeah.
And now the division, no more Aaron Rodgers, nobody really at the helm for the Bears. The Vikings are the only offensively scary team there, but so are now the Lions. Is
this their division?
I believe it is. I say it right there.
If they beat Minnesota, yes.
I don't even think they need to beat Minnesota.
Even though Minnesota, by the way, they look terrible. I mean, their offense,
like I said,
their offense, but they look terrible.
Like I said, I don't even think they need to beat Minnesota. It's their division. It's chess, not checkers. And I promise you, the way that, like he said, that fourth quarter where they came out after getting smashed to the third quarter, realizing that they playing that hurry-up ball and to figure out that they need to run the ball down their throat, that they can't stop the run, and tell Montgomery, you're going to run this ball 10, 15 times this quarter, and we going to need everything you got, all gas, no breaks. And he said, no problem, coach. And he go do that. It's chess, not checkers, man. It's their division. It's they to lose. I'm telling you. So I say that.
You know what's funny is that I'll be the first to admit when I was wrong. And I agreed with Corey on the Thursday show where I said, when he said to sit Montgomery, and I was like, absolutely, sit Montgomery. No way, start that guy. No way, no. Yeah, what a mistake.
True.
Because he had a great game, man. He had a great, wonderful game.
He's starting to show that he's really should be in that conversation for the top backs in the league. And
right now, yes, absolutely. The way he looks.
You need to respect that from him. So
he faked us out with that hamstring injury. I'm upset at that.
It was all for the betting line, man. It was all for the betting line. But they did still cover. They still covered.
But I will say
wore the ace bandage around practice all week. I'm not doing that.
Romeo Don.
Hey, gentlemen, let's talk about fantasy this week. Start sits. All right. So we're going to do this round the horn game where I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you the position. Let me know your starts and sits and tell me why, please. Okay. We'll start with you, Justin. We're going to start with quarterback. Tell me which one. Start, sit.
I think mine's is pretty obvious. Well, my start is pretty obvious. Start Geno Smith. Start him against that Giants defense. That Giants defense looks like horrible all year. Can't stop anybody. And Geno Smith, honestly, with all the weapons he got, he's just going to throw that ball around. It's going to look like playground football back there. So, when it comes to sitting, when I'm sitting Lamar Jackson. I'm sitting Lamar Jackson this week against that Cleveland defense.
Ooh.
I'm telling you,
really?
Bro, I'm saying it. Myles Garrett is looking too real, and that Browns defense quietly kept has been doing his thing and holding that division down. I say you sit Lamar Jackson this week. He's not throwing up more than 15 this week.
Oh wow. Okay. What about you, Corey?
My start, Kirk Cousins. The man has over 1,000 yards on the season in 3 games so far played. He's averaging 350 yards a game with a couple TDs, so he's my start. My sit, Joshua Dobbs. San Fran is going to pressure this guy into making mistakes. He's going to throw picks. There's going to be defensive scoring. Watch. Maybe even a safety. In this game.
Interesting. I have it set up as my start is Jameis Winston. All right. I just feel like this is going to be a game for him to make some points. And I know that's going to annoy Corey when I said that. Okay. But I honestly feel like he's going to this is gonna be a game for a lot of points. And I'm not saying going forward. I'm not jumping on the Jameis Winston band. And I'm not saying that going forward. Once Carr comes back, he's gonna end up right back in there. But this game, today, Jameis Winston runs this. All right, and that's how I feel about it. So that's my start. But my sit, CJ Stroud. He's going against the Texans, man. He's looked great all year. And I'm hyped on the young boy. But I just feel like going against the Texans, going against Watt, going against that tough secondary, they're going to pressure him.
Going against
He's handled pressure all year.
Going against Pittsburgh.
That's what I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. He's they've handled it all year very well. But I just don't see him being able to handle Watt. I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. I think they're going to be in their face all game, and that's it, man. He's gonna suffer. They're going to make him throw some interceptions. Finally, they're going to make him he's going to be on the floor too much. So to me, gotta sit him. All right. Wide receiver, gentlemen. Justin, what do you got for wide receiver for me?
I say you start Jalen Waddle this week, man. Jalen Waddle's going to come out of the gates. And I say since he missed all that fun they had last week, that he's going to want to get some touches this week, man. So I say you start Jalen Waddle against that Buffalo defense. So he's going to want to break out. He's going to want to get open, just like Tariq did last week. So he's going to want to make an impact. For my sit, I'm saying D-Hop. I don't believe in Ryan Tannehill, and I don't believe in Ryan Tannehill against that Cincy defense. You said D-Hop against that, man.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. That's a good sit. What about you, Corey?
I have the same sit as well. D-Hop is not looking like D-Hop at all. Ryan Tannehill cannot get him the ball, and they can't even run the ball. It looks like Derrick Henry's doing bad too. So that's just a whole crisis over there.
Is that permanent though, or do you think he'll rebound that?
Henry, yeah, Henry will rebound.
Henry, yeah.
But my start, I'm going with Michael Pittman Jr. And Anthony Richardson's back over there on the Colts, and I think he's going to want to prove a point. You know, they are going against the Rams. The Rams have a pretty all right pass defense. They've given up 543 yards so far this season, but Pittman's looked good in all 3 games, and I think with Richardson back, they're going to want to cut it out there, put up some more points, and show off to the fans.
Okay, I got you. When I looked at mine, I said my start was Calvin Ridley. I don't think the Atlanta defense is that good. And I think Ridley will just find the end zone. I think he's going to find it more.
He's going to want to make a statement because that's his whole team.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And as far as my sit, it's not a popular one, but Tank Dell. It's the same reason with CJ Stroud. You know, he's the big target, but he's gonna have a hard time being the target while Stroud's on the ground. So I just don't see it there. No arguments? Wow, shocked. All right, tight end.
I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with that.
Tight ends, gentlemen. Okay, Justin, who's your tight end start sit?
I'm starting George Kittle, man. George Kittle against the Arizona defense. That's a big body. That's a big body who you think is going to block every play when he's not, man. He's going to run that 3-yard dig, and he's going to run over the first defender he gets. So you start George Kittle in that situation, man.
Mm-hmm. I think that was pretty obvious.
When it comes to sit, man, you like I said, you sit Darren Waller, man. Darren Jones does not look good at all. So Darren Waller won't do much again, especially against that Seahawks defense, that secondary, and Bobby Wagner, veteran as he is. You know he's going to be lined up over Dan Waller when he lines up in that slot coming off that offensive line, and I don't believe in Daniel Jones even having time to throw the ball.
What about you, Corey?
You got to start Travis Kelce, man. They're going against that Jets defense. He's fantastic in that red zone, and guess what? He's dailing Taylor Swift, so he's going to show up and show out for his boo. My sit's gonna be Cole Kmet. He really hasn't done anything all season. I mean, his numbers keep going up. Game 1, he had like 26. Game 2, he had like 34. Game 3, he had like 44. But that Bears offense is in shambles, and Cole Kmet's not going to get that many touches, so he's a sit for me.
Quick question on that: do you think Fields is done?
No.
If he can't turn this season around and make it where he's a competent quarterback this season, do you think he's done?
No, you can't blame him for what's going on with that organization. That defense is bad and that offense isn't great. And remember, they let go Montgomery, and look at what Montgomery's doing for the Lions.
I think the best thing for Justin Fields, getting off topic, is for him to get out of Chicago. That's my opinion.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Get out of Chicago.
I don't think it's going to happen either.
Yeah, but that's the best thing for him is get out of Chicago.
I gotcha. And I can go with you. And you know what? Both of you gentlemen had safe starts. Too safe. All right. I'm gonna go with my start. I'm a bit of a gambler. Okay. I disagree with you, Justin, when it comes to Darren Waller. He's my start of the week. I think that Waller's gonna be the only bright star on that Giants for that game. I think they're not going to be able to run the ball, but if you stop the run, which is what they're going to do, it's going to be a steel curtain over there. Something has to open up, and they don't have the wide receivers to make me believe that it's going to be a genuine throwing game. So to me, Waller's the in between those little 10-yard routes. He's going to get several catches. In a PPR league, you start Waller if you have him. To me,
yeah.
Okay, my sit. Yeah, I said it. All right. And my sit, David Njoku.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think the Baltimore defense, although I'm not in love with Baltimore, like Corey, but I think their defense is still strong enough that he's not someone I would start. And they're going to be focused on stopping the run, because they got two good running backs over there. So I think more likely they're going to stop Hunt. They're going to stop Ford. Okay. And they're going to try to throw the ball, but not to Njoku. It'll be going over the top when they can. And you're going to see Watson run a lot more. So for me, I sit Njoku. I don't think he's going to be the man left out. They're going to try to keep running the ball.
You know what? That might be a really good sit, because I think he has some burns he's dealing with right now. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I'll have to look into it, but I think he's dealing with a burn injury or something weird. So
burn injury.
What
was he doing?
I don't know.
You know what he's doing, man. You know what he's doing. You know what he's doing, man.
All right, gentlemen. Running back. Finally, running back. Justin, talk to me. What do you got?
You start Kenneth Walker in this situation, man, against that Giants defense. Again, I don't believe in it. Giants is gonna be the worst team in the league this year, and I'm saying it now. So I say you start Kenneth Walker, and he's gonna have a field day with him. When it comes to sitting, you sit Brian Robinson this week, man. You're going against that Philly defense. I don't think he's even gonna be able to get through the gap, because Sam Howell, who, you know what I mean, who, guy who threw 5 picks last week, who, he looked good week 1 and 2, but against who? Nobody's, man. You go play against teams with names, teams who done something to achieve something, not gonna do much, man. So there's only limited options at Washington offense. Brian Robinson is not someone you start this week.
Got you. What about you, Corey?
You're starting Dameon Pierce of the Texans this week. He's going against that Steelers defense. They're ranked number 28. They've given up 151.7 yards a game. I'm looking for him to have a big game this week against the Steelers. You're going to sit any Ravens running back. I said it as a fan. We don't have a running back.
Wow.
We don't have Gus the Bus. I don't believe in Drake.
Wow.
And Melvin Gordon hasn't looked good in a while, so don't play no Ravens running back. This is just me giving it to you. Unless you got Lamar and you can put him at running back, don't play a Ravens running back.
Oh, interesting. Wow, Corey going against his own team.
No. Not going against my team. I'm just saying don't start our running backs.
Even with your Baltimore jersey and your hat, They're going to kick you out of Baltimore.
That's my team.
You've already been kicked out of several cities, Corey. Watch yourself, man. Watch yourself. Thank God Orlando does not have a team. All right. To me, the sit, I'm going to start with sit, okay? It's going to be A-Chain because everybody's hyped on A-Chain. He had that monster game. Everybody jumped on the waiver wire, picked him up, okay? Though because he wasn't owned by the majority of all leagues. And they jumped on him. They picked him up. But they're forgetting Mostert. This is his team. This is Mostert's team. And McDaniel is going to remind everybody of whose team this actually belongs to. Okay, and that's where that's going to be. So A-Chain is going to ride the pine most of the game. You're going to see him here and there, maybe a quick little outlet here and there, but he's not going to have all those yards that he had last week. And that's why sit him. Now my start, Alvin Kamara. He's back, baby. He's off of suspension. He's back in this game. Again, Winston is there. Winston's going to want to prove something. His best weapon, other than his wide receivers, is Kamara. And in order to get to those wide receivers, he's got to open the offense up by making sure that those safeties aren't cheating. So when he has an effective running game, it's going to open up downfield. Okay. And those two, I don't want to say two awesome wide receivers because I'm not in love with Michael Thomas, but the two good wide receivers are going to have big games, and which is going to open up why I said start Winston. So Kamara, start him, please.
Back to that.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah,
I like that sound, man. I got him on my team. He's starting this week, so
start him. He's back.
I hope he go buck.
Okay. All right. Gentlemen, flex player. If you have a flex, anybody we definitely left out, throw them in here now. This is your flex. What do you got? All right, Corey. What do you got? What do you got for the start set, Corey?
A good start will be DeAndre Swift. He's averaged over 100 yards a game for the last 2 games. He's looking really good on that Eagles offense. He helps them out a lot. He really.
Yeah, he has. Well, is he really a flex? I mean, in most leagues, if you have him, isn't he a starting?
I have him as a flex.
Oh, excuse me, mister. It's a great team. All right, so who do we have as your sit?
Probably CJ Miles. I don't think he's going to do what he did or do anything really of worth this game coming in. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a struggle for him. He struggled last week a bit. I think he's going to struggle this week.
Are you ready for me, Justin?
Yeah, I'm ready for you.
All right, what do you got for me, bud?
All right, so I'm starting Mike Evans this week as a flex player, man, against that the New Orleans defense. Listen, Baker Mayfield finds his way to give it to his big man. So Mike Evans has looked great in the season already, and I say he's not slowing down anytime soon. You start Mike Evans at that flex position. When it comes to sitting, you sit Garrett Wilson, man. Garrett Wilson has nobody throwing him the ball, and if you got nobody throwing you the ball, there's no point in you being in the lineup. Zach Wilson.
Agree with that.
Zach Wilson will not have time against that KC defense with Chris Jones coming off that line because he's coming straight through that line, and he about to get real acquainted with Zach Wilson.
Oh, and I said the wrong name. I meant Miles Sanders, not CJ Miles. I don't know where. I guess I combined CJ Stroud and Miles Sanders.
All right, that's your correction of the day, but I don't like your correction because Miles Sanders is on my
I know,
and I'm starting him. I said it. All right. For me, I have to pick on a guy who even in our own league was dropped, and I picked him up because I'm like, why is he being dropped? Adam Thielen.
I dropped him.
I know, and I picked him up. I'm like, why is he being dropped? Okay, he is a very good guy. Now, mind you, I haven't started him because the rest of my team's so damn good. But I keep him on the bench in case I have for a
injury or a bye week,
an off week for somebody. But he's there. He's putting up 12 to 15 points per game every week, and he's the only thing that Carolina has. But he's getting no respect. But this week he goes against his old team. So there's a little bit more to play for. I'm convincing myself to put him in as my flex player this week, but I got Debo as my flex, so be tough. Right. As far as my I don't even have a sit. I have another start, and if this one is my cheat because Jacoby Myers, he might be a starter on most people, and if he's not, he probably should be. He's having a wonderful year. He's having a wonderful year, and this is just a good matchup against the Chargers for him. So Jacoby Myers, start him. What do you guys have is like the number one game? You better not miss it, no matter what's happening. Your wife's pregnant. She's in labor. Hold on, baby. Hold on. Because I got to watch the end of this game. What game is it? Justin?
It's that Buffalo and Miami game, man. I ain't missing that game for nothing else. I'm telling you, that game is it's going to be a 50-piece both sides. Josh Allen, both sides, man. Because I think if Josh Allen comes out the way he should, if he come out playoff Josh Allen, it's gonna be a shootout and it's gonna be tough. Because man, Waddle is playing this week, and Waddle and Hill on both sides, they not lined up on the same side. Y'all know this. Pick one, because you can't get both. It's gonna be a shootout, and that's the game you watch, man. You don't miss that game.
What about you?
Look, yeah, that's the game you want to watch if you want to see offense, and that's it. No one wants to see two teams go out there and put up 100 points. What I want to see is a defensive battle, a battle won in the trenches, and that's why you watch the rivalry game of Baltimore and Cleveland, baby. Why? It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be nasty. And whoever makes the first mistake is going to pay. This is where Baltimore shines, gets the win, and gets back on track.
Interesting. To me, though, my game of the week, although I really want to watch that Dolphins game myself, but the game that interests me as far as what am I looking for the rest of the year, I want to see the Eagles game. I want to see them play real football again. They've been playing real football all year long, and I want to see them continue. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think this one's going to be a good game, but they're going to give you solid defense. They're going to shut the Commanders down. They're going to run it down their throats. They're going to pass where they need to. Hurts, I think, is growing into his position where he doesn't feel like as soon as he hikes the ball that he has to run. I feel like he is waking up where he realizes I can take my time and pick an offense apart, or rather pick a defense apart.
Well, I have a question for you. Why do you think it's not going to be a blowout?
I don't think it's going to be a blowout because I think the Commanders actually have a good defense. So they're going to give them a hard time. I think they're going to be going back and forth. And the Eagles.
Who did they play last week? The Commanders. Who did they play? I think it was the Bills. Was it the Bills?
It was the Bills where he threw 4 or 5 picks.
Yeah, and that was against the Bills. The Bills have a good defense, yes. But now you're talking about the Eagles, and you don't think it's going to be a blowout? The Bills put like 30 plus and held them to 0. And they're now going to go against the Eagles.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout because I don't feel like they need to have a blowout. Okay, which is going to lead me into my next point going forward after this. I don't feel that they're going to feel that they need to blow a game out when they already have it won. Okay, and that exactly leads me right over to my next topic. We have this new topic. It's going to be called Op-Ed, where I'm going to ask the gentlemen some questions, and they're going to tell me what they think. Okay, so, gentlemen, I want to play a video for you. This was taken from last week's game. Did you see that? This is Mahomes. For those who can't see it, Mahomes, at the end of the second half, they were blowing the Bears out. There was no reason for it. They had this huge lead. Andy Reid decided to leave him in.
Mm.
This is right before the half. I mean, this is seconds before the half. What bothered me about this game, what bothered me about that is that just like the Dolphins last week, they ran a score up to 70 points. Andy Reid decides to leave his top player, Mahomes, and he almost gets hurt. That's something that we wouldn't have done back in the day. You should never run up a score on an opponent. This is not college. This is the NFL. And he could have hurt his star and lost his starting quarterback for the season off of that. So I wanted to get your opinion. Should we be more upset about this than when it, because no one's even talking about this, but should we be upset about it? Corey, tell me what you think.
Well, this is coming from the hip, like the show is called. You can't put all the blame on Andy Reid. Yes, he is the head coach. He has the final say. He makes the decisions. But we've seen this time in and time out with different athletes. Athletes who get hurt, they still want to play. They can still push the issue, and they still get in the game. We've seen it where Mahomes goes out for a play. He throws a fit on the sideline because he wants to be in the game. Goes back, gets checked out, comes back, gets back in. Now, you were saying it happened at the halftime. Were they running up the score? Maybe, maybe not. Because normally when you see them sit the quarterback, it's like the fourth quarter. It's never a halftime thing. Do you want to have a high-scoring game? Yeah, kind of, sort of, because you may want to set the tone with what Miami did. You kind of want to be talked about too and not overshadowed. But I get what you're saying, that at a certain point, you should just pull your starters. I agree with you 100%. If you're up, you're up. Just pull your starters. They don't need to be in. But at halftime, before halftime, I wouldn't. Me personally, I wouldn't pull my stars yet.
I
would have pulled them. But what about you, Justin? Did you see the video?
Yeah, I got a glimpse of it. But from me, when I used to play, if you up by 40, you pull your starters, man. Like you don't run the risk of them getting hurt because it only takes one play for you to really get hurt. You know, we seen Mahomes get hurt in the Super Bowl last year and come back in and finish that game. But you want to make sure that you don't hurt none of your stars, especially people who's making money the way Mahomes, Kelsey, and all them guys are. It would hate to see a waste. And at the end of the day, those are the guys who sell the tickets. So if you up by 40, you did your job. You won already. Let the other guys shine, man. I don't have no problem letting the other guys come and get their reps in because that's the biggest problem we have with some of these NFL players nowadays. Yeah, them backup quarterbacks, they don't see the field. They don't at all. Even if their team is up by 3 touchdowns, 2 minutes left, let him go finish. Let the backup quarterback get a drive or two in. You know what I'm saying? If you already up, you already know. Let him in. That's why, I condemned the Giants head coach. I don't know his name off the top of my head. The Giants head coach, I condemned him for it because he does that. If he's losing the game and he knows he's down and he's not winning this game, 2 possessions, he's down 2 possessions, 2 minutes left on the clock. He knows he's not coming back from this game. He's going to put in that backup quarterback. He's not going to hurt Daniel Jones. He's not going to even get Daniel Jones in a position to get hurt. You know what I'm saying? So is that he's going to pull him. He's going to do what he has to do. And I can't blame him for that. So I'll pull my starters as well.
Gotcha. I'm glad for your opinion about that. Now I got another one for you guys. I didn't have it queued up, gentlemen. I'm sorry about that.
I'm good. Just causing me heartache.
Yeah. Now Corey has to relive the game. He has to relive it.
Relive it.
He has to relive it. He has to relive the whole game. Should make him watch the whole game all over again. But here's my point, okay? What I'm trying to find, and I miscued it, so I apologize, right, was that in that part, the Colts tried a trick play. I don't know if you remember. I'm sure you were watching, Corey, where they called for the kick, and then they tried to actually do a quick substitution where the whole team came running onto the field at the same time, but they forgot the rule of the game. Okay, and it's that the referee had to hold up the entire game to allow Baltimore to make the substitution. Baltimore did the absolute right thing, which is they took their sweet time, making the clock run out, and it was a delay of game. Indianapolis was upset about this, but that's the rule, right? And I wanted to get: is there still space in today's NFL to allow stuff like that to happen in this game, where we feel we need to do these trick plays?
I mean, somewhat. We see it with kickoffs. We've seen it where they'll line up for a regular kick. You think they're gonna kick it, and then they do some little angle kick right to the side to like an quick onside kick. You see fake punts. You see all kinds of different things. Fake field goals. There is room for it, but I think in certain scenarios, only in certain scenarios, like a kickoff, punt, something like that. When you're substituting players, that's a whole different thing. You need to give the defense a time to acclimate and adjust. That's the whole point. Now, if you're running hurry up, the defense can't really adjust. That's where you'll get 12 men on the field. Whatever the case is, that is part of the rules. But stuff like that, you can't really cry about. You can't really cry because Baltimore is using the rules against you. You're trying to sneak them, and they snuck you back. So it's tit for tat in football.
Got you. What about you, Justin? How do you feel about this?
I mean, when it comes to 7 players, I see it as in like they trying to do what they gotta do to win. You know what I'm saying? They know they thought they could outsmart Baltimore. But at the end of the day, the rules are the rules. The refs, sometimes the ref don't enforce it. Like I've seen that same situation happen in other games where the refs don't stop nothing. Where the defense gets caught out there in that defense, that block kick defense, and they don't know what to do. I've seen it. So for me to you to ask me a question as if is it wrong for them to do it? No, it's not wrong because
so you're okay with that happening in the NFL?
Yeah, in NFL, college, high school, do all over because at the end of the day, I look at it as like Corey said, man, tick for tack. If you're gonna try to come sneak me and it backfire on you, I'm gonna take full advantage. That clock's still moving. Guess what? He not gonna jog. He gonna walk. He gonna get there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take all the time. Remember, and that was towards the end of the game. They trying to avoid overtime because that's what they trying to go for the win because they could have kicked the field goal and went to overtime. That's what they could have. That's what could have. But Colts was trying to go. They were trying to avoid overtime.
Well, I believe that they were trying to actually get them to do. They were looking to catch them offsides or to catch them with not enough men on the field. But
yeah, they were trying to catch something like that to avoid. But they weren't in scoring position. Like they were in the red zone. They were right there, and it was like I believe it was 3rd down or 4th down that they were trying to do that. The switch. They were trying to do a switcheroo. So because that was towards the end of the game where they were trying to avoid that overtime with Baltimore. Remember, nobody thought the way that overtime was going to go the way it went.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
especially Corey.
The DPI
overtime. If you go into overtime with Baltimore with that man Justin Tucker on that side, who can kick it from the 70-yard line,
who hasn't looked great this season. He has not looked good this season.
But he can kick it from the opposite of 20.
Yes.
Man, you don't want to even go to overtime with him because guess what? You mess up one time, 3 and out. I'm not even gonna run a play. I'm just gonna kick the field goal. Bring out the leg. Bring him out.
Bring out the leg.
Bring out the leg.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't see a problem in that. I don't see a problem with what they did. It's just that Baltimore just is smarter, man. That's it. You lost. Eat it.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
I'm just not a fan of seeing trick plays as on a professional level. I'm okay with stuff like an onside or it's coming, it's a possibility. A flea flicker to me is okay. That's not the same as a trick play. But trick plays where you're trying to catch somebody off sides or trying to exploit, that might be a good word, exploit the other team.
Yeah.
I'm not good with, not on the professional level. That's high school game. That's high school game.
Well,
you're
then I
talking about grown
have
folk.
a question.
Mhm.
What about when that Kansas City Super Bowl it was Kansas and San Francisco, where you remember when they did that lineup formation? I think it was like Mahomes and the two backs, and then they all spun together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You remember that trick play? And I don't even think it got direct snap to Mahomes. What about a play like that? That's something different out of design where you're, because you can't really you can only have one guy in motion. So when you run a play like that, you're right. You don't know what you're doing.
There's no adjustments. There's no adjustments, man. You better be on 10. You know your assignment. Cool. That's not the matchup you thought you was gonna have. It's simple as that, man. At the end of the day, I look at it as they trying to win this game, and this is what they gotta do to win the game. They didn't technically break any rules.
No.
I mean, in the KC sense, didn't break any rules. It's fair game, man. It's a rule book. Fix the rule book.
I guess it's
they've
more
been adding the rules every year for the past 5 years. We've had new rules in the NFL constantly. Fix your rule book.
I guess it's more of less of like a wildcat scenario.
Yeah, but I agree with that. But they didn't try to. To me, I don't think, although it was a trick play, right? But it wasn't so much of a, we're going to do something that it catches. I don't know how to explain that one because that's a good call that would you bringing that play up. It's a trick play, but it was within the rules of the game. What Indianapolis was trying to do bothers me. That's high school ball. That's peewee football. All right. I don't like that in the pro game. I just don't like that in the pro game. Let's play a game. Let's play a fair game. We know the rules. You have your talent. I have my talent. My talent is better than yours. I will beat you. That's just how I feel about it. That's why it's an opinion. All right. I have one more. Well, I actually have two more for you guys. All right. This one, no video involved in this one. We've seen the 49ers, Dolphins, and Eagles play this season. All three teams look phenomenal, and they're undefeated. How real are these teams? Especially the Dolphins, for that matter, because we knew the Eagles and 49ers were supposed to be here. The Dolphins, to me, I didn't see them coming out as strong as they have come out. They look great. Are these teams for real? Are we here to watch these games, and are we going to see them when it comes Super Bowl time? Are we still talking to them? Corey?
San Francisco, yes. The offense's weakest player is Purdy, to be honest, out of all of them, because they have fantastic wide receivers, a great tight end, McCaffrey, a great line. But why I just say Purdy is because he doesn't have all that experience yet. He hasn't been in a lot of big games yet. But he looks great. Their defense, complete, solid, scores points. No complaints. Eagles, probably the better team out of the two because of Hurts and all the other positions that they have acquired and the players that they have, and that defense scores points as well. So I have no problem with San Francisco and the Eagles being who they are. The Dolphins I have a problem with. We saw it last year. They came out hot. They were putting up points. They're putting up points again this year. My only issue is that defense. Is that defense for real? Are they doing San Francisco and Eagles type of stuff? That's what we're lacking. I mean, you let the Broncos kind of move the ball on you, and we're going to see how they play against the Bills, and the Bills are a better defense than most really think. They're ranked higher. I think they're in the top. I want to say they're in the top 5, the Bills defense. I'm not sure. I want to say they are. So we'll see a difference, and we'll see how their defense reacts we'll see how the Dolphins defense reacts to the Bills coming into town, because we've seen the Eagles defense and the 49ers defense last year and this year. So we know they're right. And like I said, defense wins championships. So if Miami does not have a defense going into big games, they're not winning a championship.
Kudos. What about you, Justin? How do you feel about that?
Out of the 3 teams you just mentioned, there's only one team that I see going far, and that's the 49ers, man. I don't see the Eagles going far this year.
Really?
This is not the same Eagles team. This is not the same Eagles team that we had last year, because these are close games. If y'all watching these games, these are not blowout games like there was last year. These games is close games. Look at that New England game. They were supposed to lose that game. Tampa was a blowout. And I forget who they played week 2. But I remember that New England game, I think they played Vikings week 2. And even then, pretty close game. The closest game was New England. And for them to be matched up with New England the way they was, where they came out, and New England held them to where it come down to 4th quarter, last drive, that Jalen Hurts has to go win that game. This is not the same Eagles team from last year, man. And even though people believe in Jalen Hurts and all the offensive weapons and everything, Jalen Hurts himself, he's the problem. And I see that he's not the same person he was last year, or the confidence and everything coming in, throwing the ball, moving around, running the ball. They need to get back into that, because that's what saved them. The running the ball option, that's what got him, because Jalen Hurts ain't been really running this year the way he should. He's been throwing the ball a little too much. He's throwing a lot more picks this year than he has last year. So there's a lot of things that people are not realizing when we mention that.
I view it completely different than you.
Hold on.
And what I mean by I view it completely different is the sense that when I look at the Eagles, that's the team to me that if the season, based off what I've seen so far this season, the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. They're there. And the fact of them not blowing anybody out is because they don't have to. They don't have to. I'm telling you, I think that Hurts has grown as a quarterback enough to feel that he doesn't have to do that. He just has to do enough for him to win this game. And I think he's experimenting right now too. I think sometimes when he's throwing those balls that may or may not necessarily go, I think it's because he knows I've already got a team right now that even if I make a little error here, my team has my back. And we're still going to win this game. And I have a really hard time trying to find a weakness in this team. The defense is tremendous. Probably the best defense in the NFL. I agree with. And honestly, I think this team goes all the way to the Super Bowl. The Dolphins, that's the one where I'm like, I don't know what to think about them, because when I talk to other people about them, they're excited about them, but they all say the same thing. Let's see what happens when they play the Jets. And I'm like, what do you mean the Jets? They are terrible. And they said, for whatever reason, every year they come out hot. And every year they play well.
Yeah.
And then every year they meet the Jets as a rivalry game and they lose. And then they are not the same team for the rest of the season. And I never knew that as not being a Dolphin fan. But now I'm waiting for the Jet game. I want to see if they're going to be able to hold it out for the rest of the season, or are they going to fall down? That's where I'm at.
There's a,
but let me ask you a question, right? And going back to the Philly game, and I work with a lot of Philly fans, so I'm constantly, defending my life when I say stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? Do you think Philly beats 49ers last year if Brock Purdy don't go down?
Yes.
Do you think so for real?
Yes, I think so. I think they still beat them. Brock Purdy to me is, it's sad. I agree with Corey when he says he's the weak link. He's a very good weak link.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like the best weak link I've seen.
Yeah, he's a very good weak link.
If there was somebody on that offense that that wasn't, top tier. It's only him because he hasn't,
I agree.
he
I
hasn't
agree.
had enough time.
It's like that's an outstanding weak link. Okay.
And he's still, and you guys remember, he's still undefeated in the regular season. Like the only reason why he lost in the play, he's technically in my book, he's still undefeated. He hasn't been beat yet, and I'm just gonna say that because him getting hurt in the first drive in the championship game, I don't even count that as his game. You know what I'm saying?
That doesn't mean anything because for how long was Tebow undefeated? I'm not that means nothing to me. That means nothing to me.
Nah, man, it is a difference to that, bro, because Brock Purdy, he's moving like he's been here. Like he's always been the underdog his entire career, going through college and everything. To come in here as Mr. Irrelevant, take over the team with a potential star, coming as Mr. Irrelevant, right? Coming into why am I being drafted to this team when they already have a young star in Trey Lance and Jimmy G as the vet? Why am I here? You know what I'm saying? I'm just here to sit. I'm gonna sit the whole career. That's how he's looking at it. Trey Lance goes down week 1. Jimmy G goes down week 13. On week 11, and you need Mr. Irrelevant to come lead this team, and he goes 8-0. He has not lost, and he is him. I believe in Brock Purdy.
All right,
I do, and I truly believe he's better than he's with him playing that championship game. He goes to Super Bowl and he beats Kansas City.
I got you. So, well, you have to believe in something. Why not believe in him? Now, that's going to lead me into my final statement about this one. As a former quarterback for San Francisco, Colin Kaepernick sent a letter to the New York Jets looking for a job, which is crazy to me. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of, I mean, it's not a bad thing to do, but I mean, what the hell? What the hell? What does he have to lose, right? He's out of the NFL. Nobody would give him a shot. Why not? What are your takes on that? Should they even entertain this, or is this a bad move all the way around? What are your thoughts? And I'm going to start with you, Justin.
All right. So, I've read up on this a lot, and my opinion has changed throughout this entire thing because I believe in the facts, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think they should even entertain him. And I'll tell you why is because the NFL themselves, like about 6 years ago, gave Colin Kaepernick a tryout. After everything that happened where he was blackballed, they released him, and then he went on the skirts with the racism card and everything that they don't want to see, young black quarterbacks do what they got to do. Well, they gave the NFL, the league, not a team, the league gave him a tryout. And he tried to relocate the tryout 3 hours before the tryout
because he thought they were going
to meet him. Yeah, to
screw him over.
Yeah, so he wanted to relocate it, and he didn't show up. In that book, man, that was your window. That was the opportunity to go in there and show him that you really. And I believe he should be a starter in this league. Like he can be a top quarterback in this league. Yeah,
he's been out of the league for several years.
But I know he ain't stopped working. I know he ain't give up, because if he sent that letter, he sent that letter with some pride. Because look at what Cam Newton's doing. Like compare him to Cam Newton, who's on podcasts, who's on TV, who's out here running 7-on-7 leagues. Cam Newton can't be no quarterback in this league, man. Not no more. He used to be.
But are there other quarterbacks that can?
He's been the lab. In what sense? Like who?
Well, you know what? You just talked about a guy like Brock Purdy. He was Mr. Irrelevant. He was the third string. They brought him on that team. He was just supposed to be a roster filler. And now he's the starting quarterback of probably one of the top 4 teams in the NFL. So there's talent out there. So are you telling me that, because you just told me you believe in Brock Purdy, would you believe in Brock Purdy more than you believe in Kaepernick, or Kaepernick more than Brock Purdy?
I believe in Brock Purdy more because age wise, and from he hasn't taken that break.
Okay, and with that being said, I'm gonna stop you right there. With that being said, this is a guy that last year rode the bench. He was the third string quarterback. and now he's a starter, but he was a third string quarterback. So how many other quarterbacks in the NFL that are third string quarterbacks or second string quarterbacks who should start, who should get an opportunity to start? But we're sitting here talking about Colin Kaepernick, a guy who hasn't played a down in several years. Corey, tell me, what do you think, Corey?
What do I think about the letter?
Both.
Everything.
Anything. What do you think about the sky being blue? Tom, I want to know what's in your mind.
He sent the letter to the wrong team. I think he meant to send it to the Bears. But all jokes aside, man, all jokes aside, it's sad to see his career end, but I don't think he has a career anymore. I think he's a little too old. He's been out of the league for a while. The system is changing. When he was a threat in the NFL, he was a running quarterback. He had a cannon of an arm, yes, but his throwing skills weren't the greatest. It developed as they went. They did go to a Super Bowl, which they lost to the Ravens, but they did go to a Super Bowl on his back. And then after that season, it was a decline from the 49ers. They didn't do as well each season. He's moved out, and his career just went down the drain. And I agree with Justin. The NFL gave you a shot. It would have been different if he would have took the workout, showed up, and then maybe the people there didn't really do what they're supposed to do. You could see like, oh, they didn't run the right route or whatever, and then you can make a case. You can say, hey, look, I came and they blackballed me still. They didn't try to help me at all, and then do your own workout with your own receivers to show the difference. But yeah, I don't think he's got it. And if I were the Jets, there's other backup quarterbacks out there. There's Andy Dalton. There's your best friend Jameis Winston they could trade for. There are other guys out there that are better.
Jameis Winston is still
Colin
here.
Kaepernick, yeah, you could definitely get somebody else.
He never left the league. He's still in the game.
He got eye surgery. He see everything
after 30 picks, right? After 30 picks. But I mean,
but I believe in that Dalton. You named it perfect. That's a great name right there. Teddy Bridgewater, Dalton. Those are two guys. They didn't leave the league. They're right here. And they have good arms. And they're quality quarterbacks. And do the Jets need somebody? That leads me into my next question. Okay. Because although him reaching out to the Jets, my take on it is he was a running back. Just like you said, Corey, he was a running type quarterback. And the reason he was so special was because when he was doing it, he was one of the only ones doing it. Okay. You go team by team by team now. There's a lot of teams that they have Colin Kaepernick copies now. Okay. You have Justin Fields. You have Dobbs. You have all these guys.
Lamar Jackson.
Okay. Lamar's doing it better than anybody else, but it's a carbon copy.
They're all copies of Vic. And
they're all copies of Vic. They're all copies
Warren
of
Moon.
of Randall Cunningham.
Randall Cunningham, that's the one, yeah.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that you're not special anymore. You're not special anymore because I got a guy 10 years younger than you who does the same thing, and guess what? He's faster than you, and and he's not going to bring all the smoke because if the Jets, especially in New York. If the Jets were to sign him, it would become a media circus. It wouldn't even be about the game anymore. It would be all about how
Kaepernick. It
would be all about how upset everybody is that he's there, or how happy people are that he's there, and the game would suffer. And to me, the game has to be there as a game. We have to stop all this political thing, and this is not about how you felt when he was playing. Because I agreed with him on a lot of stuff. I'll say it. But the game is the game. And we made the game have to deal with political stance. And that's what we didn't need. I don't need to know about politics during the game. All right. But that's my take on it. That's how I felt about it. But what I also feel is that the Jets do need a real quarterback. So who's out there? What do we do? What do we do for the Jets other than Colin Kaepernick? What do we do for the Jets? Tell me. And I know Corey threw some names out there, but who do they go get? Because Zach Wilson, he's obviously not it. Who do they get? Corey,
It depends
who
if
do
they
they go
want to
get?
get somebody too. If they just want to.
What do you mean if they want?
Nah, you need to get somebody.
It's
It's not
no,
no you
it's
want. You need to
it's
get
a
somebody.
want. Do you want to get somebody, or do you?
Do you think they're
Okay.
tanking, Corey? Say it.
I-
Say it. I want to hear you say it. Own it, Corey.
If
Own
they
it.
want to tank, this is the perfect opportunity to tank. So you could get a good draft
Okay.
pick. So it's
All right.
it's do they want to or do they need to type of thing. It depends.
But who's there to go get if they
Hey,
tank? Is there someone
Well,
coming out?
if they
Collins,
want to win
man.
some,
Who?
Williams,
if they want to
man.
win games,
You go get Caleb Williams out of USC, man. You go get
not
him.
after the report about Aaron Rodgers. So,
What do you mean? Talk
he
to
said
us.
he's
What do you
coming
know?
back next year.
Okay, that's a great thing.
1 year though.
But that's
1 year though.
If you tank and then you get the kid out of USC, he sits behind Rodgers for a year. Why not? Nothing's wrong with
What's
that.
wrong with that?
All right, Justin.
What's
Let me
wrong
say
with
this. Let me say this, Justin. Okay, if you were a Tampa Bay fan and you had the chance of grabbing up Tom Brady and winning a Super Bowl, and you knew it was just for 1 or maybe 2 years he's going to be here, would you still take that move and take your Super Bowl?
They did that.
Yeah.
They did
Would
it,
you
and
do
they
it?
did
Would you go back in time and do the same thing? The fact that you're thinking about it scares me. Corey, would you do it? Would you do it so you can get your Super Bowl?
I'll sell it out. I'll sell it out. The Rams did it. The Bucks did it. It works.
The Rams did it.
You gotta.
Tampa Bay did
at some point,
I
you-
would do
you
it
gotta
too. I would do it if I could
You
get
gotta
my
do
Super Bowl. As a lifelong Jet fan until I woke up, okay, I never saw the Jets win a Super Bowl. A New York fan, I wore my green. I never saw the Jets win a Super Bowl. I was born after Namath did it. I lived through Ken O'Brien. I lived through Chad Pennington. I lived through Vinny Testaverde. I lived through
Mark Sanchez,
Esiason,
Gino.
Mark Sanchez. I lived
Gino.
through the Favre era, the Gino era. I gave up, and I chose to switch sides to the other side, the Giants, because at least I had Eli. I had Phil Simms. I had Eli. Okay, I had a franchise that actually wanted to win. So tell me, I got to sell my soul to win my Super Bowl, and it is what it is. Okay, and that's what the Jets they brought in Rodgers. They have a solid team. If Rodgers were there, I think it would be very different than what's going on right now. But you got to bring somebody in this game. You got to bring somebody. So to me, Dalton's the move. Dalton is a great move. I would jump on that. I would jump on that in a heartbeat. I love the Dalton move.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom. Well, I don't know
Throwing
about
it
this.
out there. Yeah,
He
I
ain't
know,
never gonna leave-
but
he ain't never
I
gonna leave
would.
New Orleans,
They
man.
Bring Drew
Wow.
Brees back.
wow.
Bring Drew Brees
No,
back.
No. I think he's done. He is done. But
All right, guys. Let's move on to Prize Picks. Okay. Prize Picks, for those who don't know, it's an app you can download. You can make a bet on a parlay, 2, 3, 4, 5, however strong you feel about it. Okay. The player stats. Okay. And what we do here is we pick our guarantee of who we think is the guarantee. This is the hot one. Okay. A 2-team, or rather a 2-player parlay or a 3-player parlay. So I'll start with Corey. Corey, this week, Sunday's games.
Dameon Pierce.
What would you pick?
47.5 rushing yards. Like I said, he's going against the Steelers defense. They're giving up 155. He's a good back. He's got power. He's got speed. He's going to beat him up a little bit. Just stay away from TJ Watt and you'll be fine. Khalil Herbert, 1.5 receiving yards against the Broncos, their last place defense. look for Herbert. I'm not Herbert, sorry, Justin Fields to get the ball out fast. I mean, 1.5 receiving yards. Come on, man, for a back. And I go with Travis Kelce, 0.5 pass.
Oh,
yeah,
3 player?
pass rushing or recording a touchdown. They're playing the Jets. You know he's catching something. He's got to do it. He's all over the media. Taylor Swift with his new mustache. Kelsey, if you see this, grow the beard back, man. Grow the beard back.
Bro, have you seen the memes that show how he used to have all that swag, and now he's messing with her, and looks like he's driving.
It looks like Andy Reid, man. Looks like Andy Reid, man.
Justin, what's your prize pick? What's your parlay, buddy?
My personal parlay, man, I got a 6-player parlay, but I ain't gonna give y'all all that because I don't need y'all stealing my thing.
Wow.
I'll give y'all a quick little 3 of them. I got a 6-player parlay. I felt this is the most confident I felt in a long time about this pay. But I'm gonna go again. I said it last week, and I'll say it.
You know I don't have any space for you to move back in, right?
But I'm good, bro.
Okay, just making sure we're on point there. You can't move back, buddy. You can't move back. You left. Talk to me. What do you got?
Listen. I'm gonna say it again for the second week in a row, man. I got Tyreek Hill anytime touchdown, man. I called it last week. He scored in the first 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah,
he did.
He scored in the first minute of the game. So I call it. I'm gonna call it again, man. Anytime touchdown, Tyreek Hill. I'm gonna throw Zach Wilson in there, man. Less than 177 passing yards. I don't see him even getting the ball out. I don't see him getting the ball out. I don't see him even touching 100 passing yards. I'm telling you, man. Hey, I got Justin Jefferson. Man, over 103 receiving yards. Hey, man. This listen, he's had 300 every game.
Yeah.
He's had 300 every game, but I don't see him getting under 100. He's throwing 350 a game, man. Listen, 100 of those, 150 of those is going Justin Jefferson, man. Come on, man. Y'all got get in tune with that. And I even throw an extra one in there for y'all. Keenan Allen, more than 7.5 receptions, man. He had 19
that one's a little
receptions
bit better.
last week.
Yeah.
That's better, especially without Williams.
He had 19 receptions last week, man. 8 receptions, man. He going to do a bounce back week against the Raiders, man. So there goes a 4-player right there for you. If you hit, you know my cash app, man.
All right, hit him up. Justin, my parlay,
you hit.
See, again, you guys are, well, not so much you guys. I applaud you, Corey, because at least you kept it where you weren't crazy about it. Justin, you're insane. But Corey, you're,
man.
I kind of agreed with you.
I need to be more like Justin.
Right, I got one here. Yeah, man, Justin. Woo. Boy, you don't play, boy. You don't play.
Listen, man. When this hits, you ever seen the NBA commentator when he yells "bang"? When this hits, I'm telling you.
When that hits, I think Justin's gonna walk around here like the way those guys were when they hit off of the GameStop.
Oh yeah, the stock
where they were walking around making it rain. That's gonna be Justin making it rain.
I'm walking around with my Conor McGregor walk, man.
So here we go. 3-player parlay. Okay. I got Drake London. Okay. They got him with 46.5 receiving yards. Pick a less on that because that's not happening, buddy. Drake London is not going to be able to get that many yards. Alexander Madison, running back, Minnesota. They got 53 yards. He's going to get every bit of those. Maybe more. I think this is 100 yards for him, this one. And Najee Harris. They got him with 52 running yards. Yeah, pick up more on that one because he's going to go over that, and he's going to get them. So that's your 3-player right there. Throw $50 on it. When what is it? 150, Justin?
You talk about me. I throw $5 on my 6-player. You throw 50.
Well, you know.
You can't move with me, right? You know you can't move with me, right?
Hey, I'm just letting you know that you're $5, okay? You can't make it rain with $5. What are you gonna do with that? $50?
I'm just saying, man. You can't move with me. Right?
You have the extra bedroom. Supposed to take care of your parents. That's the natural course of life. All right. But gentlemen, I want to thank you again for coming out for another successful week.
Yeah, man. Up episodes weekly, man. We got episodes coming on Saturday, Tuesday, and Thursday, man. Stay tuned for those episodes. Keep it updated, keeping it real, and keeping everybody in the loop of the football world, man. Off-season injuries, practices, everything. Get in tune with From the Hip, man.
I just want to once again thank everybody for the support. Just keep watching. We're trying to provide the best content for you. Some of us have crazy parlays that I wouldn't go with, but whichever ones are safe, I would go with that.
We'll try. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And we'll see you next week.